Hey guys, so today we are going to start looking at background techniques with gesso. Before I do anything, I want to show you this one. For all intents and purposes, it doesn't look like there's anything on that, but here you see that I'm using clear gesso, and that's it in its drying stage. So I'm just going to set these off to the side so that you see that it will go on white. This is clear gesso. It will go on white. It's pasty, but truly it will dry invisible. So I'm just going to set that off to the side and let that continue to do its magic. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to share with you was gesso through stencils and spray dyes. So this is a stencil that I have. It is a, here, hold on, this is it here. It's a Balzar design stencil. So what I've done is I took out my stencil, I laid it down on my page. My page has some spray dyes down on it already. If you don't know how to make the spray dyes, there is another video that tells you my how I do them. I do them with magic markers and rubbing alcohol. So here the idea is you lay down your stencil. I have tried laying down the gesso. This is white heavy gesso. I tried laying down the gesso in a number of ways. And the way that I like the best is, let me show you how I did it here. And this seemed to work the best for me. So taking a card, you know what, I don't want to do this on here. I'm going to do it on something else so that I can continue working on my dry page. But taking, here, I'm just going to grab out a piece of paper. So using the gesso, I'm just dipping it. Can you see what I'm doing here? I'm just dipping it in my gesso, and then I am scraping it. Should have really positioned myself better. Scraping it on the page that I'm working on. This seemed to work the best. I tried a brush, it bled a lot, and I tried a makeup sponge. These you can wash, so that's nice. I did not wash this one yet, clearly, but you can wash them and then you can just keep reusing them. So really it's just like a paintbrush. So okay, I'm just going to work on getting this spread out here so you can see, and then again I'm just going to leave it to dry. So getting it all gone. Okay, I'm going to move this over. I'm going to pick it up. You ready for the big reveal? 1, 2, 3. So it works well. So again, I'm just going to put that over there. That will dry and we'll come back to it. I wanted to show you, I always have these tags for anything extra, any extra paint. I never waste paint. So here I'm just going to scrape out the extra gesso that I have, and I'm going to let that dry, and we'll come back to that as well later as we're working. Okay, so here, imagine, if you will, that I've used this, I put it down my gesso, and now I'm ready to do something with it. So what I'm going to show you is the spray dyes. This is a spray dye. So I'm going to, hold on, use my spray dye and a roll of paper towels. So I'm spraying, and I'm going to let it sit a second, and then I'm going to wipe it on up. So I can keep on working this. Doesn't that look cool? So I can keep on playing and working it and bringing it out to life. So I think I like this orange better. So, okay, so that is with spray dyes, and that can dry out. So now I wanted to try it out. What if we did gesso with paint? So let's see what happens if I'm running out of room. I got so much stuff drying. I'm going to go with a nice bright blue here, so it shows up. So this is an experiment. So we are learning together and seeing together. So what I'm going to do though is I am going to use it watered down because I want it to kind of behave like, you can't see what I'm doing over here. Hold on, let me see if I can't move this a little bit. So do you see here that I'm working, I just took some water and splashed it into the blue. Okay, so here I come back over to my page and I'm going to put it on and I'm going to use my card. So let's go with something thicker just to see what happens. I want to use something that will show up and pop. All right, so let's do it. Now if you do paint over paint, it's going to, gesso is really just so I can kind of use the paint to make these circles. See, I am just scraping up that paint. While I have extra paint over here on my palette, I'm going to show you what I do with extra paint. So let's say that I have been painting something. Oh, I just splashed myself. Let's say that I'm painting something and I've got these colors left and I hate to throw them away. So again, I take my card and can you see? I'm just going to scrape it up and then I'm going to lay it down on a card. It does this great thing where you don't even have to work at it. You get these stripes and these great patterns without even having to try. So they are scraping it up and laying it down. Scraping it up, laying it down. I find that the less you mix them, the more you get these great lines and patterns. So let me just get that on up. Okay, so then again, these things are over to dry, and for ease and keeping the video short, I'm just going to clean up and we'll keep on going. So this is drying now. I'm just going to let this sit a second, but my basic thought is this. So I have this kind of area out, then I can just take my gesso back in again and sort of just play and get these great kind of circles going with the white highlight. So I know that circles are all the rage right now, so those are just nice and easy and quick and fun. It was one layer down, dry, paint on top of it, and then finger painting the rest of it on there. Okay, so we've got that done. So you've got, now we've got some other fun things to do. So here, you know that I do, where's the camera? I do a lot of stuff with cardboard. So here, this cardboard has, can you see on there? I had some extra paint left over on a stencil. It's hard to see, but this was one of my palettes where I scraped it and I just scooched it down, and this was all the colors that were on my palette, and look at how fun that is, that it just that it did that without any effort at all. So here what we're going to try is circles and gesso. So this is just a piece of cardboard. You see it was from some kind of food. I've got gesso on there. I just took different things and laid them down and made circles, and then so let's see what happens now if we do some dies. Now these are all handmade, so I'm just going to keep on moving today so that we can just get a lot covered, because I've got a lot of different techniques for you guys to try this week. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to put it over here to dry. Okay, you're ready. Next thing is before and after. So this one, these two were, so the way that I got this done was I had extra black paint. I just took it and I scraped it. So I just had these sitting in my pile of just things that I had to do something with. I then took a stencil here by Crafter's Workshop, put it down and did the gesso. Let that dry. So now I've got the black paint, I've got the gesso stencil. I then just took the spray dyes and sprayed them on there and just let them mix and mingle and have fun together. So here I'm just gonna sort of do, you know, put some yellow on there. Now that one is really wet, but I'm gonna drip it out because we just don't have time. We're at 11 minutes already. So there, I'm just gonna let that drip out and we will come back to it once it dries. Okay, here, let's say that you don't have any gesso. You just don't have gesso. If you don't have gesso, I'm going to say you should get gesso because I use it every day for everything. So let's do a different color. So this is, again, just those undies with the paint scraped out. That's the pink and the black. The yellow is, if you don't have gesso, I don't want you to not be able to do this technique. So I just use a yellow paint and did the same thing, scraping it into a stencil. So let's see what happens. And I do not know, but this one I'm going to, oh, that looks kind of cool, doesn't it? So I'm going to kind of, all right, we'll leave it to dry. I think it's going to be kind of pretty though, but we'll see. We don't know till we know. Okay, so I'm going to leave that to dry, but that's kind of looking pretty. Okay, that's drying. Okay, so now this is an example of getting rid of the extra paint. That's the stuff on my palette, and I just took it and I scraped it. Here, let's say that we've got extra gesso, so don't throw that away either. This is extra gesso, and I just took it, scraped it up off my palette, and I just applied, stopped, applied, stop, applied, stop. So let's see what that does. I'm going to come across it. You ready? I'm actually getting the pattern up from my paper towels, which is sort of cool. I'm going to leave that a little bit on there. So I'm going to leave that to dry. Goodness, we have some more drying than we have doing. Okay, so here I was, oh, things are falling at me. Here I was going to try, we've got some extra gesso. Let's try to put some paint over it and see what happens. Just going to put that on there, and I'm going to scrape. I think what would be really cool with this is if you've got a stamp pad, but first we got to let that dry. I'm really going to scrape it so that I get that you see texture in there. So, okay, we'll leave that to dry. Extra paint. This one was, I had some on the back of my stencil. The gesso is so messy that I had some on the back of my stencil, so I put that down, pressed it down, and got it. And then I still got an outline, imprint. So, not an imprint. Well, I don't even know what I got, but I got something. So I'm just going to leave that like that. Extra paint. I think I did this one already, but let's do that really bright orange if I can find it. Really bright orange. You hate when you lose really bright orange, don't you? Oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to do the really bright orange. And then I'm going to take this. This has the extra gesso. I'm going to scrape it. So let's see what happens if we scrape it. And then I do have some of that extra paint on there. So, okay, we're going to let that dry. Okay, we are wrapping up here with everything that is done. So I'm going to take these over here to dry. Okay, so now something that is so fabulously fun, you can't even stand it. This one I did with a spackle spray. Let me come this way a little bit with it. Okay, so this one is a spackle spray. No, it's not a spackle spray. It's called Fast and Final Lightweight Spackling. I don't know which way to put it so you can see it. That's not right, Lisa. Fast and Final Lightweight Spackle. And the thing is that it's like a cloud. It's just really light. We have to let it dry. So here, that's it. And I have to say, out of everything, I spread this with a, I'll show you how I spread it, but I spread it with a card. So this comes out really fabulous. This comes out, you've got to let it dry before you do anything with it, but oh, it is just fun, fun, fun. So here, so I have some on this side too. Underneath this one is these big white things here are wax paper that I had as undies, and I just used it, plopped it on down there because it just had so much fun texture. So can you see how beautiful that's coming? Let's do some pink in there. A spray bottle kind of. I want to do something brighter on this side because there's so much. So remember that this is just background. This is not your pages unto themselves. You could take pages that are looking so pretty like this, and you can write on them. You can do your journaling on them. You could draw pictures over them if you get pictures. You could put those on top of them. But this is not the end all be all. This is just a background page. It's just background technique. So I like those values to get really kind of dark. See, what's happening now is it got too wet and it's actually starting to wear it down. So go in once and leave it alone. Don't come back in again. So, or let it dry before you keep spraying it. So there's a lesson that we've all learned together. So that is the dry spackle. Out of all of them, I love it the most. But get in and then get out. Don't scrape it too much. Let me see. Let me just keep on picking back up now the extra pieces that I've got. Okay, so here, let's come back here and see what happened when it dried. So that we just keep on adding the color. Here it's so dark because I've just got more layers on it. So this is just, I would just keep on coming back in and just getting those layers down. I do want to mention one thing while I'm thinking it. The spackle is breaking down with mediums, so it activates itself and it will break down with mediums. The gesso doesn't, so that is a plus on the gesso side. So there we have those, and those are kind of doing their thing. Here is that circle one that we were working on. Now remember that this was a darker cardboard. This was like cardboard color, so it's not taken much of the color yet, but you can see as I keep on adding on values and I keep adding up those colors, it's going to be fabulous and fun, and it's just it doesn't require a whole lot. I like how that looks. That's with the paint, and then the spray dies put on top of it. So I would use this. I would put some scripture on this and use it as a salt leak. Put a ribbon up top and use it as a salt leak. Let's see what's over here in our pile of goodies. So this is not dry yet. This was our fan. That's not dry yet, and look how fun that is. Can you see on there that it stuck a little bit, so it took up some of that These are the cards with the extra paint on them. Extra paint cards here. Okay, this is the one with, it's just got the gesso, extra gesso, remember? And then we just started to spray it down. That's the undie page, so that's just extra gesso with spray dyes on it. That one's not. So that's actually kind of fun. So there is a lot of different techniques here today for you to work out with, and these are all just gesso. So here is last one. I don't remember what that one was. Last one is our clear one. Remember we started out with the clear one. So let's see what happens when we come in with the it doesn't show up so much. So I kind of like how that looks though. It looks like it's got the pattern. So let's see if I really kind of get in there. See, it's starting to show up. Can you see that? See how it's coming on? So let me put a little bit of yellow maybe on there and bring it up a little bit more. So here it's starting to come up. And if I had all the time in the world, I would just keep on developing all of these colors. These are just started, they're not done. I would just keep developing the colors and developing more and more just the kapow element of them. So, and this one I would put spray on it as well. So, and then you've got just pretty. So that is it for this week. It is, look at how pretty that looks. All that, like, just visual nano. So that is all I've got for today. Gesso your hearts out. You can also use gesso as a, just put it down and you can journal on top of it. If you've just got too much going on and you have no place where you can write, just put a little bit of gesso down and use it, and you have a fresh palette to write on. So thanks guys. See you later. Bye.